talk today about the Age of Aquarius, what that means, and why you should care, how it's going to impact you, or is impacting you, I should say. So let me start by saying that in any given second, we have billions of bits of information flowing at us. I mean, right now, if you would just pause and look around, you are being impacted by billions of bits of information. Obviously, I'm coming at you through the screen, but all around you, there's information that your body and mind is processing. So at any given second, there's billions of bits of information. As we move through our day, we are impacted by so much information. It's information overload. And this is really what Age of Aquarius represents. This is the age of information. This is, right now, we have information at our fingertips, and this is vastly different than even just, 50, 100 years ago. 100 years ago, the yogis would say that this was we came through the age of knowledge. And the age of knowledge is very different than the age of information. So the age of knowledge is where wisdom keepers existed. It's where people could cultivate a specific type of knowledge and an expertise, in a certain field, and it gave them a purpose. We kind of grew up and we decided this is something we're really interested in, and then we could become experts in that field, and then people would rely on us for that information, and that was our purpose, is just holding this knowledge. Well, now that doesn't matter anymore. We could all hold knowledge in so many subjects, but again, I don't need to go to the plumber for his expertise necessarily anymore. I could go to YouTube. I might go to the plumber because I don't feel like doing the work. But if I felt like doing the work, I could probably find the expertise on YouTube and get a step-by-step guide on how to fix my toilet or my sink or whatever. And so this is the age of information. And 100 years ago, one of the biggest differences is that they say somebody that was a day in the life of somebody, let's say, in the 1800s, or let's say a year in the life of somebody in the 1800s, that you could go through an entire year, and the amount of information that you would be interacting with in that year is equal to one day in today's world. One day. That's how much information is coming at us that is vastly different than what we experienced as a species just 100 years ago. And so this is a huge change. And it's impacting you whether or not you realize it, both emotionally and physically. And of course, we are adapting to that as a species. We are learning to adapt anyways. We're in that process, moving through this age and the changes. And one of the biggest things that we can cultivate to help us move with grace is a strong nervous system. So Yogi Bhajan, he's a yogic sage or guru who brought us Kundalini Yoga. And Kundalini Yoga is essentially a technology that is developed for strengthening our nervous system. That is the sole purpose. Utilizing different kriyas, this is yoga poses, and breath to strengthen the nervous system, as well as chanting, meditating, these sort of things. We're clearing and cleansing. But again, all of the focus is around having this strong nervous system and that awareness. And this is how we can help deal with all of the information we're being bombarded with. We also have somewhere around 70,000 thoughts a day. And again, this information that's coming at us and the way that we're processing it and all of that is also something we need to really look at, because again, there is billions of bits of information coming at you, although we're only processing a very small amount, or I guess recognizing a very small amount, because we throw up filters. And these filters serve a purpose. They show us what's really important to us, to our belief system, and to our survival. essentially. So every one of us is going to have a very different belief system and different things that we're supporting as our life. So our filters are very different. So we could be looking at the same information. You know, you could be looking at the same feed on Facebook that I am, or Instagram, or, you know, you could be looking at the same view out of your window, but we'll process it very differently based on our belief systems. And so if you're not seeing what you want to see, if you're not pulling from the world or from your experience the things that you want to, if you're looking at your Facebook feed or your Instagram, or you're looking out the window and you're seeing things that you don't like, you're noticing the heaviness, then it's not changing the external, because we'll never be able to stop that from coming at us. But the most important thing is, look at the filters. Your filters. What is your belief system? As that is really what is deciding what you're experiencing and what you're seeing. And so that's, you know, this is the way that we can move with grace. So I'm going to leave you with a breathing exercise, one of the most important breathing exercises that is utilized in Kundalini Yoga, called the breath of fire, or Kapalabhati breathing. And so the breath of fire is, it's one of the most purifying breaths. So fire itself is purification. Fire is a cleansing. You know, we think of throwing things into the fire to purify, also to transform and shift. So many things happens in the space of fire, cultivating an inner fire. We can throw into our inner fire, as we learn to cultivate it, all of the emotional and physical toxins that we accumulate. And we can also throw in, you know, negativity. We can throw in emotions that aren't serving us, and we can transform those emotions. So we can throw into the fire anger and watch it transform into love and peace. So again, I'm going to show you how to cultivate this breath, and you know, I would urge you to practice it daily, maybe several times a day. At first, it can be difficult. You're going to build up strength and endurance. So starting with maybe 30 seconds, and you know, you don't have to maybe go as rapid as I might, and you know, your pace is yours, and then you'll build up endurance, eventually maybe building to 5 minutes, you know, at a time, or 10, or even 30. So again, Kapalabhati breathing. We breathe into the belly, and it's not so much the low belly, but you're actually going to breathe here into the diaphragm. So this is the place that's right below the rib cage and just above the belly button. And if you place your hand here and just try and take a few breaths and really direct the breath here, and it's helpful to close your eyes and really focus on that place, as the breath tends to follow our attention. We can ask the breath to move into the different parts of the body by focusing on them. So here we're going to focus on the belly and just invite the breath in and out. Let it just expand here, and then it's you exhale, pulling this part back. Let's do that a couple times. And let the breath grow a little bigger. Really lifting it and expanding it, but we're inviting it here, and then exhaling all the way. This is an important part of the mastery, is mastering the breath. So maybe just sitting and focusing on the breath in and out of the diaphragm and expanding it into the whole torso. So today, just with a quick glimpse into Kapalabhati, I'm going to show you how to invite the breath here in a much more rapid pace so that we can cultivate that fire. So you could start with 5-10 deep breaths, just like we just did. And then we're going to take the hands and make the, just bring the palms towards me, facing forward, out from the body. You'll spread the fingers out wide, and then you're going to close the fingers, just roll them in so the tips of the fingers are meeting the pads where the hands are. The thumbs are pointing towards one another, and you're going to extend your arms up, creating a Y. You'll just reach them up into the air. The thumbs are pointed towards one another, up above your head. I'm sorry, you can't see all of me, so you'll just have to bring it into your imagination. And then the exhale and inhale is going to be out of your nose for Kapalabhati for this particular breathing, and we're going to pump the belly. So it'll look and sound like this. We're going to start with a cleansing breath. Just inhale through your nose and open your mouth. Exhale it all the way. You can bring your attention to the tip of your nose, just dropping your eyes down for that drishti, or if it's more comfortable, just close the eyes halfway and bring your attention to one point out in front of you. And again, you'll just inhale and begin breathing. The exhale is a pumping of the belly. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. We're going to do this for 30 seconds. Now take a big inhale, fill your lungs all the way to the top. At the top, bring your thumbs to meet above your head. So they're touching, just like this. Hold it. Hold your breath. Open up your mouth and release your hands into your lap as you exhale. Close your eyes. Just notice how you feel. Let that energy move. Healing, cleansing, clearing. Again, I urge you to bring this practice into your everyday, maybe 2-3 times a day, and eventually growing your endurance level to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even 30. We have nothing but time on our hands right now. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to next time.